Last week on Elevating Men.
My audio didn't match my video. Yeah. What was inside of my heart, what was coming out of my mouth didn't match my actions and all that sort of stuff. So I had to self-reflect on what I was causing this woman to feel. I was having to self-reflect on what I was doing to make this woman not her queen self anymore. I had to look at the very first cause in everything I was putting into motion. And that was me. And then I had to choose on whether or not I wanted to be something different.
Let me back up. You attract who you are, in my opinion. You draw, you look in the mirror, you're going to draw a woman that's very similar to you. As you heal or you grow, you draw a better grade or a better quality of woman to the point that you reach a woman that is the one that draws now the greatness outside of you. She just literally pulls it. She's just being herself, but because she's being herself, she just pulls. It's like gravity. She's just pulling it out of you. So I think that's been my story.
So again, society, we've torn down the value of a husband and the value of a wife.
Yes.
And we say these things and we think that they're cute when we say them, but they're curses. Mm-hmm. We say things of, oh, my husband is my best friend. Don't degrade me, because as your husband, I have access to more than what your best friend should have access to. Don't listen. Friends are down here. Husband is up here. Don't give me a title that's beneath me. Just honor the title and who I am to you. And men have to do the same thing with their woman. If this is your woman, if this is your wife, your girl, your lady, whatever your belief is, but this is who you with, then honor her in the position that you put her in. Don't degrade her down to friend. You just can't do it. You can't go along with the social norms just because it's easier to speak that language.
Over there. That's why.
Okay. Hello. You all hear me?
Yep.
All right. So we're still having some technical difficulties, I see, because Andrew's not on the show. But we're going to jump right into this. We're going to get started. We're 18 minutes behind. And welcome, audience. Thank you for tuning in yet again. We love you. We love your support. And we're getting ready to get into chapters 7 and 8. Quick recap for those of you who are just joining in. We talked about this book right here, the top 10 reasons why I refuse to say I love you. The book was written from an I standpoint, because we can't not talk about what other men believe, because it's a generality that does not go across the board. And one woman actually read this book and stated that, well, more than one woman read it, but woman said, you know what, maybe you crossed out the word men, because a lot of this actually applies to me too. I have some of those same feelings, behaviors, and actions and stuff. So getting back into it, chapters 1, we talked about the fact that before this book was written, the gentleman had no peace in his life. He was an empty man. And chapter 1, he began lusting for peace. P-E-A-C-E. And in his lust, he intertwined or confused P-E-A-C-E with P-I-E-C-E. So he started compartmentalizing things, women, and trying to throw them at his emptiness. Chapter 2, he got good at that, and he got greedy, and he began to get more pieces of women, so to speak. Chapter 3, he got comfortable in his medicating, and he became lazy, stagnant, and he stopped growing. And he blamed it on her and said, "You're changing." But when in actuality, he was not changing. She was still growing. chapter 4, he actually began to take a little inventory and self-introspect, and he actually started to see himself as not the man that he thought he was, because there were more affluent, more well-established men out there whom he became envious of. And in chapter 5, he actually started to blame others for his lack of pride. He had lost his pride. It's like, I will not take responsibility. I will not stand up and be the man that I was charged to be. I'm going to blame that woman that you gave me. And that brings us up to chapter 6, when he was saying, this isn't even about you. Chapter 6, he was basically starting to take self-inventory, where he was actually naked and ashamed and afraid to be anything other than what he was. And that part right there is where we began, where he begins to start using motives to try and justify where he is. So if you all are following the book, page 109 or 110 talks about my motives for what I'm starting to do. Now I'm going to stop right there. Go ahead, Andrew, because I was going to ask Nisi and Big Unc, what are your takes so far in the book? Chapters 1 through 5.5, getting ready to go into 6.
What page did you just say turn to?
109, the very last sentence. 110 starts the finishes of the last sentence. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir. So any thoughts?
Who started? Andrew's gonna start.
No, you tell us. So what have you gathered so far from chapters 1 through 6?
Wow, a lot of information. A lot of information. It really helped me. This book really helped me understand what you're going through or what you have went through. And it helped me to learn how to forgive myself, because I thought it was just me that was screwed up. I didn't realize that. I knew it was you. I knew it was you all along. But you manipulated me so much that I started blaming myself, and I was very angry at myself. And reading this book, I mean, it's raw, and it's every day. I mean, we talk like that. Some of us do anyway. So I was able to, I saw myself several times. It was funny, and it was serious. It just helped me. It just helped me to forgive some people who I did not understand. I blamed myself. I was very angry at myself. So it helped me some to understand what they were going through, what you were going through. And thank you for sharing it.
Let me ask you this. So you read in the book, and I'm gonna tell you, like, most women I know that have tried to read the book, they can't get past like the first chapter or two, because they like, this dude is talking slick. Who is he talking to like this, right? And so, from a female perspective, and that's why we wanted to have you on. You said that, hey, I read it, and now I actually was able to forgive some people possibly in my past. I was able to see their perspective. And so can you go like a little deeper into that? Because the book does come across a little aggressive or abrasive. And so what was it that hit your heart that made you say, wait a minute, Mr. Such and such back there, he must have been going through some stuff and I didn't realize it. Like, what was there a specific chapter or a sentence or a line? What hit you?
Well, there's a couple. She's
flipping to it, y'all. Hold on. She knows exactly what it
was. Yeah, really, I'm here to learn, and this has really helped me learn. I love being a student of life these days, and that book has really helped me learn. It's taught me to listen, and not do so much talking.
Okay.
Although I can say that I was almost a perfect person in the relationship. I got with an Andrew, pretty much.
Hold on, wait. Be
Some of the
specific,
things,
because
some of the
it's
now,
too.
some of it, Andrew wasn't really.
It's two Andrews on here. You talking about that one? That one.
Well, not my nephew, of course.
Not me.
Definitely not my sweet little nephew.
There we go.
I mean, and that's how I was able to relate. Because I'm like, oh, that was it. Okay. Because we came to you. Let me just back up. I really didn't know how to choose a man. And I chose the wrong man. I really didn't know men had feelings.
Mm.
Wow.
I did not know men that had feelings. I didn't think you had a heart.
Wow.
Because my mother gave up on men in her 30s. It had to be her latter 30s. My grandmother gave up on men in their 30s. None of our fathers stuck around. No one supported us. My uncle half-ass did it. Nah, I can't even say he half-ass did it. But I did not know that you all had feelings. And here we come. I'm thinking that you're so strong that you could handle everything. You can handle me. You can handle women. So why was my mother and my grandmother so broken? I didn't learn how my mother would say, if you want to know about a man, ask a man. Well, I asked and I never got any of the right right answers.
They weren't being honest. They were trying
Not
to
at
knock
all.
you down. I tell you, that's
Not
what it
at
was.
all. Yeah, not at all.
Wait a minute. Listen.
I've run across a couple of guys that I probably should have stayed with, but because of my fear of men and how they have hurt me and how I saw them hurt my mother, I just didn't think you all had feelings. And here I come to you, this strong man. I'm broken. I've been hurt. I see this man that I think that he is the potential. He not marriage, because I don't go in it looking for marriage. I'm just friendship. If we can get past friendship, then we can go to the next level. And here I come, this little broken girl, thinking that this man is going to be so strong and he likes me. And then I'm thinking this man is going to come and just love all my hurts away.
Wow.
I
But
know
it
you
didn't
can sing
happen.
like that.
You added on to my hurts.
Wow.
And it was so hurtful.
And that goes
hold
back.
on, I gotta pause right here just for our audience, real quick. I see y'all watching. Give us a like or a thumbs up because we had some technical issues at the beginning. Just want to make sure you can hear everything because there's already some bombs being dropped. We got a special guest with us, Mrs. Nisi Houston. You can follow her on Facebook, but she just told us something that I hadn't heard recently, which is I didn't even know men have feelings, right? And it went back to childhood. It went back to auntie went through this, grandma went through that. There weren't any men in the family. All of them left. And so when it came to emotions and men and reading this book, it was like, wait a minute, this is a realization. Like, y'all do have feelings. Y'all do care about things. And so that's where we're at right now. I also want you to go ahead and share this with your network. Let them know that we're live. Everything is moving good. We're about to have a great conversation. We don't want people to miss it. Drew.
Yeah. What she kind of touched upon was what Mike Junk, I believe, and I can't speak for him, may have been talking about. Well, not today's women, they won't commit or whatever the case may be. Well, we were trying to allude that maybe they were the ones that were broken. You're asking them to jump in this full steam ahead and trust you right off the bat and follow your lead. But today that you're starting with day one of y'all's relationship, and she's still in day 400 of her pain from yesterday, that I caused. She still hasn't healed. So, man,
I had a question. So she said that she didn't realize that men had feelings. Last week I had made a statement about speaking the language of today. And so often, they just now stopped saying this, but so often you will hear them say, "Get out of your feelings." And I had said, before that men are often trained from a child to keep it at home. Don't go tell nobody else. What happens at home stays at home, and this becomes his home. And so he doesn't know a safe place to be able to let them feelings out. So again, get out your feelings. Women train the men that end up causing the problems.
So I would say the men train the men too.
Explain that.
Through absence.
Women train the men.
What? Explain that. I lost that. Women train the men to what?
Okay. So oftentimes we'll see a single mother. It didn't work out, for various reasons. And this is just talking about one stereotype. Not all women, every woman, but not all women.
Mhm.
And they'll begin to dress this little boy the same way as the dude that they couldn't keep a hold on. They'll begin to teach him the mannerisms of the same guy that just broke her heart. And so, in fact, she ends up training the next generation of men. I told my son all the time, I'm not raising you to be a good little boy. I'm raising you to be a grown man, because good little boys turn out to be somebody else's problem. So women have been raising these little boys where the men have been absent or not allowing the men to be around. And then that young man goes out and becomes the problem of another young woman.
Mhm. That's
Hmm.
true.
Drew,
That's
That's true in a
right
lot
what
of
did you
cases.
hear?
Yeah.
You see that right there? Yeah. So no. Hey, I understand. I understand. I believe what you're saying, that because of the absence of the man. Is that what you're saying? Because of the absence of the man?
So man, I don't like quoting Steve
It's
Harvey, but he did
essential.
shed some light on something. Even when the man is present, if you challenge the man's authority or his ability to be able to rear his son up, then the father then becomes absent, even if he's physically present. If he wants to go and discipline the child or teach him a lesson or talk to him in a way that's a little harsher than what the mother would, and then she says, "No, don't hit my son, don't do this, that, and the other," then you just made that father, although he's physically present, absent.
So yeah. Wait. I get that. I
And
get
that's
that. I
absolutely
understand that.
selfish for women to do
And
that.
I
And
really
they
think
will
that,
regret it.
yeah, I really think that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
I really think that's a different conversation because, and the reason I think that's a different conversation because what we're talking about is men who have the responsibility of raising their seed that they put into life, and also before they put that seed into the fertile ground, that man has the responsibility of finding the right fertile ground. Okay, so this man, he has all this power, and if he goes out and he finds this domineering person that will outman him, that will shut him down, that has something to do with, I think, what Gary was saying. A person finds kind of who they are. They're attracted to kind of who they are. So, if he's having issues before he even finds this woman, and this is what this book is talking about. I'm having issues before I go out and pick my woman, and I'm picking my woman based on my issues, not based on my future, not based on my child that I'm going to have, not based on my legacy, but my issues.
Well, I mean, a lot of times in relationships, we're filling a void. And so we're just trying to find somebody that can fill whatever our current void is, whether that's childhood pain, whether it's, we need some fun and excitement in our life. We're choosing based off of a void in a lot of cases. We're not really choosing based off of a plan or a future that we're trying to create. And so one of the things that we try to teach at Elevating Men when it comes to the seed, what comes first? Is it the seed or the fruit? And a lot of times we say, well, hey, this woman, but we carry the seed first. And so what Andrew was alluding to is the fact that we have to choose to plant our seed in fertile ground, meaning that we have to have the perspective of long-term thinking and not trying to fill a void for today where we're dropping seeds in ground that we don't want to till, that we don't want to cultivate. And the fruit that comes out, we end up leaving it alone. So, yeah.
You were asked how we felt about the book. I think it said, for me, I didn't think the other men was dealing with the same things that I was dealing with because of the traumatic childhood that I had. So I wasn't trying to fill a void. I was trying to fix something. My mother was broken. And so when I went out looking for, and this starts early, I wasn't trying to find a girl that was like my mom. I was trying to find a girl that didn't do the damage that my mom did, as long as it wasn't on that level. And then I would try to like add things to her that were good about my mom. But I was essentially trying to fix the broken home that I had. Although all the components was in the house, it was a mess.
Yes, yes. So, Andrew, can I take?
Yep.
So, if you all would join me, like on page 109, I think it is 109, the first, second, third paragraph. Now, what makes my behavior gluttonous? Because right now I've gotten many pieces because I'm greedy. I got lazy. I got comfortable with those greedy pieces. I started envying other people. Now I'm a glutton for what I put into motion. But what makes my behavior gluttonous is the fact that I will do whatever I need to do in order to get not only what I want, but I'll go that extra mile to get whatever I don't want, and sometimes don't really want. Whatever I don't need, and sometimes don't really want. You see, I'll covet my neighbor's wife. I'll cover my. I'm trying to read from this page. Sorry.
What you're saying? Hold up, hey man, what's on that plate, bro? That's what I want to know.
It's done too.
I got this candy coated cornbread, fried turkey pork chop. It's a turkey cutlet, some cranberry sauce, green bean casserole.
So who said men can't cook?
Yeah, exactly.
I got it feeling.
Because he's throwing down over there.
Sure
He is
is.
throwing down.
I had a long day. I apologize. I haven't got to eat since about 7 o'clock this morning.
Hey, you're a hardworking man. But look, for those of you that are tuning in, we appreciate you being here. We're covering the book 10 Reasons Why Men Refuse to Say I Love You. This is our fourth segment on this particular book because there's so many things to unpack. If you are not caught up on the series, you can go to our YouTube channel at Elevating Men, catch up on the last 3 shows. You will not be disappointed. Today we're talking about chapters 7 and 8. 7, what's the title of that, Drew? I want to make sure I got it right.
You need to man the fuck down.
Down.
Now,
Yeah.
So just right before he said that, but if you guys are just tuning in, he was talking about the fact that sometimes women end up raising their men or their young boys to be a certain type of way based off their past experiences with men. And so can you tell the audience, like, what is that chapter about, like really specifically?
So what that chapter is about is the man discovers that this woman is talking to him any kind of way. You need to not say that to my son. Where you going? What time you gonna be back? Where's the bank card? Because I don't want you spending all the money She's basically telling him what he is and what he is not going to do, because apparently he is not exhibiting the type of man that is supposed to be leading that house. So she is actually manning for him, and she's doing whatever she needs to do. She's telling him to go fix the leak in the faucet. He won't go do it. Next thing you know, she's carrying the plumber's tools, and she's going to fix stuff. But she's making stuff happen, and she's dogging him and downing him because he's not. And what he discovers is, damn it, you need to man the fuck down. You can't be just talking to me any kind of way. But what he's actually seeing is, damn, you're right. I am not doing those things. That's why you've become so loud and so vocal. Because in chapters 4, you was like, Hey, dude, what's really going on with you? How come you didn't stop leading me? In chapter 5, why are you blaming me? And in chapter 6, okay, I get that you got problems, but damn, somebody got to make this household work because you're not.
Mm, mm. So my question to the ladies: have you ever been in a relationship where he was being the man at first, he was taking care of everything, you were able to stay within your feminine energy, and as he began to slack off, step back, whatever the case may be, you had to step up, right, and maybe step into more of your masculine energy to make sure that there was some kind of order within the household and within the relationship. Have you ever been in that position? If so, did you lose respect for that man? Right? Like, did you lose respect for him? It's like, man, look, I gotta tell this dude everything. Everything's falling apart. He ain't spending the money right. The bills is all overdue. I need to step up, and I'm sick of him. But you stayed. Like, so that's the question. So let me ask you, Auntie, have you ever been in that situation?
40 years ago.
Talk to us
40
about
years ago. 40 years ago. But yeah, I mentally detached. It was easy to leave.
it. So. Did you notice the breakdown? Like, were there any key signs where it was like, wait a minute, like something ain't right? I'm not talking about to the point where everything was already falling apart and you knew, hey, it's time to leave. But leading up to that point, what were some of the telltale signs that maybe he just didn't have it all together and you needed to step into a role that you really didn't want to be in?
Well, I was so young at that time, 40 years ago, but it all started with drinking a lot. Can't get up and go to work the next day, and those things like that. And you just, I mean, where's the money coming from? We have kids. What's happening? And little by little, each day, the more. And I today I understand that the liquor he was drinking a lot to cover up a lot. So his father had a family on the other side of town. They looked good. His children, they didn't. And he was angry. And he took it all out on me. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. And that's how I was able to forgive him years later. It took 30 something years for me to understand what he had went through. So, the understanding person that I am, I'm here to learn, and I needed to learn why this person why his behavior was just so off. And I hated him. I hated his guts.
Wow.
Look, you're not by yourself.
The liquor got in the liquor. Oh yeah. I mean, he was violent. So he was so angry.
Sorry.
He was so angry. And I mean, it's okay now because he made his peace. He made his peace with the children. They understood him. When he died, they had a great relationship. My son had a great relationship with his father, and I was really proud of that. But I still hadn't forgiven him because I still needed to dig deeper to see where this was coming from. I noticed that I didn't care initially. And as you grow and as you evolve, you're learning, and you want to, people say forgive, you got to forgive. Oh, you got to forgive these people. No, eventually, but you have to understand what you're forgiving.
Exactly.
I can't just say, oh, I forgive him for almost killing me. No, I did not. It took 30 something years for me to dig deeper and look and see that he was a hurt and angry little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was raised by a single mother.
Mm-hmm.
And she did the best she could, just like my mother did. And we were two broken people that got together and just end up having babies. And, and the relationship was terrible. And once he lost his job and he got another job and he lost the same job doing the same thing, drinking and not being able to get up and fighting all night and acting a fool, it was time to go. It was just not healthy for me anymore. Wow. And I knew it wasn't healthy for my children. So, we got away. And that was the best thing that I could have done. And I learned a lot. I had to dig deep, like the book. It gives you that in-depth look at your soul.
Wow.
your heart. And for you all that can't get past that first page, I say get past that first chapter. Or the first, what did you say? They can't get past the first chapter? It's wrong.
Chapter.
But I mean, you listen to people look at the housewives, there's all kind of stuff on TV. If you can't get past that first chapter, come on. You're missing something.
So we got a couple comments here. I see you. First off, I commend your strength.
Yes.
And pushing through that and being where you are today. And so I definitely admire and respect that. Jessica Acosta, she said yes and yes. I lost all respect. For those of you that are just tuning in, where the question was, have you ever lost respect for a man in the midst of a relationship? Because at first he was doing what he needed to do, and at some point he started slacking off and you had to step into your masculine. What did that look like? And so Nisi just shared a powerful testimony about her life. And so definitely give her a like, a heart, a thumbs up, let her know that you appreciate her sharing that story. We got a comment from Melvin Brown. Thanks for tuning in. He said, absolutely, forgiveness runs deeper than that. What a powerful testimony. Absolutely. Nashina Nicole, thanks for tuning in. She says, some women didn't have a healthy example on how to respect a man, nor how to allow one to lead. Some women were raised by single moms doing everything, so they enter relationships already in that role and attract a man that will take advantage of that. That's an interesting perspective there. Thank you for sharing. Tammy Martin, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Carried the weight because I was married with young children and I tried to preserve that two-parent household. But if I could go back, the children wouldn't have to heal from the childhood if I'd made different choices. Wow. This is some deep stuff. You had a comment.
Man, it's so when she was, it was a lot. So the whole forgiveness that it took 30 years. I remember when I was going through my first divorce, I thought I was healed. I thought I was fine out of all these things that this woman had done to me and everything I had lost behind trying to find love. And it was somewhere around 15 years later, and I seen her, and there was no anger in my heart. And at that moment, it really messed with my head because it made me realize I've been a problem. And I've damaged all these women throughout that 15-year span that I had came in contact with, that I had slept with, that I had tried to have relations with, all because of this. And now at this point, it becomes compound damage. Because you said, talking about hadn't seen a man respect a woman. In my upbringing, and Melvin can contest, in a way, I hadn't seen a man be respected. So I didn't know what that looked like or felt like until I got outside the house. And so I had the compound damage from my childhood with my mother. And then seeing how my dad was not received. And then when I went through things, and then I went to somebody else, and I ended up dumping off all this stuff on all these women. And by the time I realized I was healed, it was too late. I've damaged so many people.
Wow.
Appreciate the honesty. You had a comment, Drew?
It's chapter 6. My phone had messed up, but it basically talks about when I first met you, or when I first saw you, and that was a take off of Roberta Flack's song, First Time I Saw Your Face. But when I first saw you, you either had this banging body, and that banging body was what was missing from my loins because I was lusting for a piece. Or when I first saw you, you had this cold ass car, and mine just so happened to be in the shop, and I didn't even have a steering wheel for it, even when it got out of the shop. Or you had this badass house, and I just so happened to be living in the basement of my next door neighbor's friend. And you had something that was not inside of me. And that was what I was actually looking for, not you.
And so again, it goes back to that void that a lot of men are trying to fill. And so let me ask you, we got 3 men on the panel. We got a lady. I love it. How can a woman recognize when a man is looking to fill a void versus he has a plan and he's looking for the woman who actually fits the role that's needed to carry out that plan? Because those are 2 completely different men. I'm sure they show up differently in the relationship. And so if anybody want to take that, what does that actually look like?
What was the question? Say,
He's
say the beginning of the question
rushing you
again.
for sex.
Oh, hold on. All right, Niecy's got it. What is that?
Rushing you for sex. Rushing you. Just rushing the relationship. Let's move. Hey, you know what? Let's do this thing. I don't even know you.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Because this is something. So, like when we talk about the needing to fill a void, I read something recently that talked about men when it comes to suicide. And so, Elevating Men, we're all about men's mental health. So, I'm always trying to educate myself on what those things look like. They took a whole bunch of letters that men left after they unalived themselves. They analyzed the letters and they looked for key words, like common words in all these letters, hundreds of different letters, right? One of the main words that they saw repetitively was they felt like they were either unseen, undervalued, useless, or worthless. Those were the words that recurred. And so when we talk about men who come into relationships broken, they're looking to fill a void, they end up damaging good women, it's because they feel useless in some kind of way. And I've heard that over and over from each of us in our very own way, which is, hey, I didn't have a good childhood, or my previous relationship, or, I'm looking to fill this void, or my mom treated me this way and I wish I would have had that. And so unless we come into a relationship whole and feeling useful as a man, meaning that we're working towards something, we've got a goal, we've got a plan, we're on track to something, we're really not ready for a relationship, and we can end up damaging good women because of it.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you know if they're trying to fill a void?
I
The
think
whole Russian huh?
Okay. No, I agree
The
with
whole
what she
Russian
said. The
sex.
Russian, yeah.
It let's just be transparent. It's kind of a real thing. Because it's one thing if we both moving at an 8, then cool. You know what I'm saying? This is just our speed, our tempo. But if one of us is a 5 and the other one's an 8, if one of us is, you know what I'm saying, 8 could be cool for me, but then I meet a 10, I feel like she's moving too fast. But the thing is that the man is trying to lock you in. He's like, okay, I want to do this, but I know I don't have it. He'll have a plan. A man that is trying to fill a void will have a plan, but he's already assessed the things that he doesn't have, the tools that he doesn't have. So by having sex, what he's really thinking is a real woman, not a hoe, but a real woman is not going to sleep with me and run off. At that point, she's vested. She's committed. So now I can get those tools out of her that I need to fill this void that I'm lacking.
So you're saying that some men use sex as a way to lock a woman down when he knows he doesn't really have it all together.
Yeah. The other show I said a lot of times us as black men, we leave the house and all we have to stand on is our looks and our dick. And we will stand on that and we will ride that wave. And it can be the worst thing for there to be a young man that's good looking and he got a tool, he's packing. And he rides that wave until women start maturing and they're like, that's not enough. But now that's all he's built his life on. So everything else crumbles.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I got to hear that from a woman's perspective. Have you seen that, Niecy?
Yeah. And usually, you have these, you meet each other and you have sex the first night. I mean, I'm a woman. We've all done that before. Usually if a guy is kind of, if a guy is, I didn't sleep around just to be sleeping around. But if you have sex with that guy the first night, then it's pretty, remember there was Andrew, I don't know if my nephew remembers this or Unc. There was a time when when a guy would have sex with a woman that first day, and like you said, trying to lock her down, they would ask, can I have a chance? Write it down. Can I have a chance? That doesn't happen anymore. It's just, you have sex, y'all go together.
Wow.
Next thing you know, you're trying to play relationship, like you play house. Play in a relationship. You're trying to build up something and neither one of you know each other. You
Right.
know, you don't know how to communicate. Now all of a sudden you're sleeping together. You're in the same bed, you're sharing the same bed together, and you don't even know each other.
Mm. Shout out to Dion Hood. Thanks for tuning in, bro. Thanks for tuning in. If y'all don't know, man, that dude can sing. He was in the play with Marcus and I a few weeks
Yeah.
back, and yeah, be looking for his album, man. That is a talented brother right there.
It was that.
Dion Hood. Got another comment from Tammy Martin. Let me make sure I got it up. She says women tend to assume good to great looking men as a player because of exactly what Unc is saying. True. Andrew, I think you had a comment you were waiting.
Yeah, man. Oh gosh. What page is this? Page 156. You know, I know that I've been confused about a lot of stuff for basically all of my life. You see, I thought that laying atop a woman qualified as covering her. Therefore, my goals included sharpening my skills at looking good, portraying a confident front, accumulating plenty of women, smelling good, staying well groomed, dancing good, playing sports, dressing nice, possessing the latest gadgets, phone, toys, and other expensive, meaningless crap, buying the most expensive tennis shoes every year, trying to win at everything, accumulating plenty of women again, having my every action praised to no end by you, hearing you sing my name out loud, hearing you sing my name out loud behind closed doors, hiding, internalizing, avoiding my not so perfect side, finding, hustling, or borrowing money when I need it, talking my way out of any kind of shit, complaining, fussing, and arguing until someone else gives in, pounding a woman's precious pit at least 16 straight times before ejaculating, and accumulating plenty of women. That's what I thought my role was in covering a woman.
All right, I gotta ask this because at one point we were having a conversation, maybe a couple shows back, and we stumbled on the idea that sometimes unintentionally, women who are raising young boys are training them to be this way. They don't realize it, but they are, through the leniency, through the affirmation, the praise, when maybe it's really not warranted. Can we kind of unpack that a little bit, right? Like, how do we end up that way? Because when you're raised by your mother, I don't know any man that was raised by his mother that doesn't love her to death. So you love your mother. So you would think that that would translate into a certain love for women in which you would want to honor, respect, protect them, and be a good man. But what we stumbled on a couple weeks ago is that it turns into, oh, I'm going to be a player. I've learned how to manipulate women. I know how to pull on their heartstrings. I know how to, affect their emotions. And so how do we get to that point?
Unc had a comment.
I didn't receive praise from my mom. I had 3 younger brothers, and there was a favorite, and then there was others, and I came in dead last. So when coming up, as girls started, giving me compliments, that filled that void that you was talking about. That was one of my voids. And then it just grew from there, the manipulation.
So somebody help me out with the word emotion, because when I hear the word emotion, I'm thinking that something I am feeling, whether it's a good emotion or a bad emotion, is something that I am feeling. And where women come into play, this is just my take. Chapter 2 talks about how women helped me begin to feel and understand my feelings, meaning men would punch me and try and chastise me and try and raise me and try and get me right, but that hurt, that felt pain-filled. Women, on the other hand, they would coddle me, they would praise me, they would comfort me, and that felt good. So my feelings actually began to teach me what I wanted most in life. Do I want these feelings or do I want these feelings? Because the feelings that I go through on a daily basis, which is being ridiculed from my my classmates, or bullied when I'm trying to come home, or misunderstood by whomever else. Those don't feel good. So I'm now in a spot where I'm looking to feel good. And women by nature are nurturers. They want to nurture my feelings. They want to make me feel good. So that is what makes me gluttonous. That is what drives me now, versus what I'm supposed to do, which is protect them, which is honor them, which is to everything about them. I am now the recipient, and I want that. And I want that. And damn it, I want that.
I think it's because a lot of our homes are out of order. There's no balance. We have a lot of single parent households, and so we're leaning all the way to one side. And then when you think about the single mother, let's just like be real about it and unpack that. If you're a single mother, and especially if you're the sole provider, income wise, the man, you're at work, you still got to go buy clothes. You got to cook the dinner. The child's too young to cook for themselves. You have to groom them. You have to do all of these different things. And so when it comes down to, oh, now I got to yell and scream and fuss at you. And
Got to watch my son sneaking out the house. And
there
all
you go.
that.
I don't have the energy for all of that. I need help.
Oh, but they do get a break when they get sick, right? Y'all get to take sick leave, right?
Do we?
Oh, you mean y'all, even when y'all get sick, y'all still got to do all this stuff?
I didn't remember a sick day.
Right. And so, so when you look at it, it's there's no balance there. Like, she doesn't have the space and or the energy. Her primary concern is, I have to take care of you. I got to keep food on the table. I got to keep you dressed and clothed well, and let alone getting you to activities and doing all these other things. I really don't have the time, the mental energy, the capacity, the heart to be a disciplinarian. I need the man around.
Because I'm tired, and that's why a lot of kids are out here and they get away with a lot of things. I know my son did. I begged men to come and take my son. Please help me, because he was getting wild. And I was grateful for the ones that gave some encouraging words, but later on found out they were broken themselves. They're trying to help. But later on in life, he had a really good mentor. But you're tired. It's like, I can't do. By the time I get off work, cook dinner, get everything together, make sure everything's okay, then, Rodney, what did you do? Or, I'm tired now.
That's why we have
to be out the house. He's sneaking out the house.
Right. That's why we have to be really, really careful as men when we just throw the blanket statement that women raising boys are what's ruining society.
Exactly. Because we think that that child support check, if we're even paying it, hey, that's enough. That's enough, ain't it? Hey, I'm a good dad. I pay my child support.
Maybe. Nope.
Yeah. I sleep good at night. Nisi, I got a quick question. Did you sleep good at night knowing that not only you had to do all the work and had to do everything, but maybe somebody might kick in the door or come through the window or something like that? Did you sleep good at night knowing that you had to be the one to hear everything also?
No, I didn't. A lot of nights, no. You kind of have to sleep with your eyes open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would have my door open. My son would sneak in when I did doze off and close my door. I hear stories now about how that happened, but yeah, it's really hard for single women raising children by themselves. It's hard. We lack a lot. And so once the kids start growing up and leaving, we're just trying to figure out who we are and catch up to what we lacked all these years. And sometimes the kids get, they get to be adults and then they don't want to, they kind of forget. But it's a struggle.
So we're saying the chapter is man the F down. And what we're finding is a lot of women had no choice but to man the F up. And that's because
I can put
us.
in a garbage disposal. My son and I, we remodeled our house. We put in the floors. We redid the countertops. Oh, I would do it all. I cut the grass. I did my own lawn. My son would do that too. And that's why men were saying, oh, he's being raised right. He'll be okay. He'll be okay. But it took years. It took 30 something years for, to him to square up. I was grateful to be able to see that. And that was my confirmation that I did do some things right, but it was hard. It was tough, especially with that boy.
Oh, yeah.
Now the girls, Tasha, my oldest, I mean, she was doing her little thing, but she squared up at 13. My son, he just, he had the girls. He didn't have any children. He was very responsible in that area. And he would tell my grandson to make sure that you strap up. Don't have kids everywhere. So he was very smart in that aspect. But yeah, he gave me some problems. But I was just grateful that I saw him square up and stand up and take care of. He didn't have any children, but the women that he would date always had children. And I mean, these children loved him. And he gave what he didn't have. Mm-hmm. He gave those children what he didn't have, and they really supported him, even at his services. The kids were there crying, and the mothers, and he squared up. He was a good guy. So,
page 158 talks about it now. After I've subconsciously abandoned the responsibilities associated with the position of head of the family, I have the audacity to tell you, the man, to fuck down. When in essence, I need to man the fuck up, and it talks about, I don't know if the readers are picking up on the theme of the book, but the first chapter was lust. The second chapter was greed. Next one was sloth. The next one was envy. The next one was pride. The next one was gluttony. And then the next one after that is vainglory. All of these things, these 7 deadly sins, plus a few more, that are actually attributing to my thinking that I'm actually loving, and all I'm doing is just going through a myriad of feelings and emotions that are causing me to abandon my manhood.
Yeah,
so
I see. Go ahead.
So vanity, the root word of vanity is vain. Vain means useless. And we spoke towards that, and that's also talking about that void. But also, if a woman has to, as in the book, start telling me everything that I'm not doing that I should be doing, we got to back all the way up. She's telling me to do the same things that I would have to do if I was living by myself or being by myself. I see the comment where she's saying that men are able to go after what feels good versus what looks good. I mean, what's required. That's back to when he was talking about the pieces, where we're trying to get a bunch of pieces to make ourselves feel good versus actually having peace. But for me, and I digress after this, for me, when she was speaking about how they put in the garbage disposal, they remodeled the house, they did this, they did that. It wasn't that my dad wasn't willing to, but my mom's presence was so much louder than his that became something that I desired. And my dad had to tell me later, he said, we taught you how to sew, how to cook, how to clean, how to start to work on houses, this, that, and the other. And you're doing all these things, but what have you left for your woman to do? And now you're complaining that she's not doing anything. It's not masculine energy. It's just that fortitude that I'm going to get it done.
Good. I wanted to touch on that comment too, Brienne.
What's taking you so long?
Brienne Ford, thank you for tuning in. She said women are raising boys because men are able to do what feels good and not what's required. And man, that's a conversation we really need to start having with our young men. I believe that, as a woman carries a child over that 9-month period, there's a special attachment that's created there. But we also have the societal reinforcement that says her baby, it's her baby, it's her baby, it's her baby. But where did it start? And so as we're having the sex conversation with our young boys, protection is a part of that conversation. Wrap it up, make sure you choose wisely, etc. But why aren't we teaching our boys that life actually is inside of you to begin with? Like the life force is inside of the young man. And so if we can begin to teach that early and help them understand the power that he actually possesses, that she can't get pregnant without you, and the kid that's developed from that was in you first,
Well,
they're
so-
always going to look at it that way. Yeah.
So I've been pushing that. I said it as a joke, didn't realize it was revelation that God gave me, which was that I gave birth first. I carried this seed. It was my job to protect this seed from the wrong ground. Just about anybody was willing to receive the seed, but it was my job to protect it. When I finally choose the ground, it is my job to take care of the ground. I didn't fully get this until my son going through puberty. He's 12 now. And I started exampling it in front of him when his little dick started jumping up in the mornings and stuff. You know, the first thing he said to me was, I want to learn how to control it without touching it. That meant a lot, but it was because I finally had started exampling in front of him that, hey, we are responsible for that seed. We give birth first, and then the woman delivers. Women don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. I give birth in you, and then you deliver it into this realm.
And I'm wondering, do men understand that? And do they accept the power that they actually have? Meaning life.
No.
Life goes on. You know, Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Father, forgive them for they know not who they do. Father, forgive them for they don't care after they've done it. But
that's good.
Goes on. And if they actually realize that I am putting this into motion, maybe I should care about the motion that I'm placing, the path that I'm putting this life onto.
Well, I mean, it's the conditioning. What do they tell young men? Hey, sow your oats.
Exactly.
The visual of sow your oats is you just throw it out there and keep walking. And then you grab another handful and you throw it out there and keep walking. We don't have any conversation about cultivating. We don't have any conversation about raising, growing, none of that. And so, yeah.
They want to teach. They want to teach everything in the Bible, but the good stuff, the stuff that's actually there that pertains to us. They'll teach you about the first four gospels all day, the synoptic gospels. But there's another scripture that says just that, where God killed a man because he pulled out and wasted his seed, and it said the water of his springs on the ground. Listen, the woman was ugly because none of the brothers really wanted to have to sleep with her, but it was their duty. But then one brother jumped up and was like, "Oh, I'll crack that. I'll clap them cheeks," because he wanted the pleasure. And then he pulled out because he didn't want the responsibility. Nobody's teaching it.
Right.
Wow.
And you certainly have to start when they're very young.
And yeah, this is chapter 7. You know, I'm still not a man. The first 3 chapters are talking about my physical pain and how I'm manifesting this physical pain. So that means I'm putting my pain inside of you. 4, 5, and 6 talk about how my mental pain is starting to kick in because nothing is changing from me getting rid of my physical pain inside of you. Now I'm starting to feel guilty and ashamed, and I'm starting to look at myself, and I'm actually not feeling too prideful. And 7, 8, and 9 actually start to question my character, my manhood, my soul. Meaning, am I really this bad? Am I even worthy of, man? Oh gosh. You know, so mind, body, and soul in this book, the man is messed up. The man is messed up. He's trying to find himself, which is why he cannot love. Love is the last thing that's coming out of him.
So Tammy Martin, she said, told my son from an early age that I would never allow him to not care for a child he created, and he's still childless. There's one thing that we used to talk about on Elevating Men quite a bit is the age that we have children. It's my personal belief that most men are not ready to have a child, and I had them before that. But in hindsight, about 30 years old is when it finally clicks for a lot of us. I mean, it really does. And so when you have a man who's making babies at 18, 19, 20, even up to 25, a lot of times he really doesn't understand the responsibility that he's creating. And I believe it's because he hasn't seen a man take that responsibility. He's only seen the woman do it. So he's completely disconnected from what he's created. Completely disconnected. Brienne Ford, and we've lost the value of legacy. The Bible is full of genealogy because where you come from matters. Our last names used to be a reflection of us. So before men care more about their offspring, because their children are a direct reflection of their value and accomplishments, men who don't value their legacy will walk out on their families, leaving women to raise boys.
Exactly.
Look, she ain't on the mic, but find the mic and drop it. She was on it.
Yes.
So my father did not know. So my last name is Evans, and that's not our family name. My father did not know that his father had been around him his whole life until like a week before his mother passed.
Wow.
And later on, I started putting all the conversations together because he would talk to us a lot. That's where I get it from. And he would say things like, I didn't have a father, so I'm doing my best to try to figure out the example that you need. And it clicks later that this is the real reason why you were silent. Yeah, you was hurt, and he had dealt with that hurt, but he never had a blueprint. He didn't know what it looked like. He didn't know what he was supposed to be doing. And so when my mom would become so boisterous, but she had all these examples. And so he would just kind of go back into his shell and say, well, the one thing I know I can do is provide. I know I can discipline. I know I can just show them how to be honest and be, virtually like a good man. But as far as like all the other little things, the little day-to-day things, her voice was so loud and he never had the example. So he fell back because for our family, the whole legacy thing has been broken.
Wow.
Wow.
Example, what a man is what comes out of a man. If I only do what I know, and I only know what I trust and believe, and how does that say? What I see becomes what I know. What I know becomes what I believe, and what I believe is confirmed by what I see.
You can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
I've always struggled with that thought, just for a different perspective. I've always felt like it kind of ties back to the golden rule, which is like doing to others as you would have them doing to you. And so as a man who didn't have my biological father like directly in the home with me, and we were disconnected for a very long time. As a father, what I've tried to do, and I failed many, many times over, is just be what I wanted. So I remember those times as a young man. It's like, man, I wish I had my dad to do this. I wish I had my father to do that. Just trying to be what I wish I had, if that makes sense. But again, you don't know what you don't know, and so it's a tall order. It's a tall order. I want to pivot real quick because we only got one more week to go through this book, and so there's 10 chapters. We're at chapter 7. Just really quick, tell us about chapter 8. We'll have a quick conversation, and then we're about at our time. So what's chapter 8 about?
So chapter 8, again, we're getting into this man who is now deeply torn, and he doesn't have a reason to be a man. So he's like, it starts out, here comes another year, another new year. And if something doesn't change, nothing's gonna change. Or better yet, if some shit don't change, then some shit is gonna change. I guarantee it this year. And the thing is he can't figure this out because chapter 8 is saying, I need a reason to be the man that I'm supposed to be. Because right now, I am suffering from what is called acedia. And acedia is that the way that I defined it or found it in the dictionary, it's different than a regular sloth. It's a spiritual sloth, meaning I am spiritually lazy. I don't want to believe in you right now. I don't want to believe in you. It was that woman that you gave me. It was that life that you gave me. And I'm starting to doubt all this stuff that you gave me. And right now I'm getting angrier and angrier. And if the reader is really reading the book, they'll see that in chapter 5, the cursing starts to slow down and the self-blame starts to increase. But then in chapter 7 and 8, the direction of who he's really fighting is starting to pick up. Meaning, I've always had this problem with myself and the person who created me. I thought it was my mom and dad, but it ain't now. Supposedly, who am I? Better yet, who are you?
So is this the point where he's the unanswered prayers, the delayed prayers, I'm trying to change, I want to be better. I've fallen from grace in the eyes of my woman. I want to be the man. I don't know how to be the man. You created me. You put me in the situation where I didn't have a father in the home. I've asked for guidance. I've asked for the right words to say, the right things to do, and you've left me hanging. So now he's angry with God. Am I getting that right?
Yes. Now he's angry with God. I mean, I'm tired of doing unto others as others would, as I would have them doing to me, because they're not doing unto me. They're just doing me. And that's making me want to do others, because I'm kind of confused. How come you can't come down on earth like you did way back in when? How come you just can't just part the sea so I can see? I got my eyes open. I'm looking for you. Show me like you showed them. Were they that much better than me?
Wow. Marcus, I got to go to you on that. You're a man of the cloth, a man who has felt that God has left him completely hanging, left him alone, hasn't given him any answers, and now he's failing in life and he's angry with God. What's your take on that?
I didn't. My hardest confliction with that, because you hit that wall several times. You hit that wall and you'll lean on it, and after a while you'll realize that that's the thing that's holding you up, is that you feel that God has failed you. And so it kind of becomes your identity because you hit it so many times. The greatest time I hit it was my last divorce. And I had to get away from everything that the church had taught me. And I had to actually learn God and know God for myself. Not for what my mother taught me, not for what my father had taught me. And in doing that, I started to find out who he actually had created me to be. Not who I was striving to be, but who he created me to be. God gives you all the answers and the tools before the problem ever arises, but we don't see it. Samson slayed all those people after turning his back on God and being like, oh, I'm such a man. And then he said, I'm going to die from thirst. And God simply told him, once he repented, why don't you look inside the jawbone? The same tool that you just slayed everybody with. If you humble yourself, the answer is already there. And he looked inside and he saw water and he was able to drink it and replenish himself. But it was me getting away from everything that I thought I knew about God and every mechanism that had taught me about God. And then God was able to show me who I really was.
Love it.
Yes, on page 170, it starts out, at this point in my life is when I feel hopeless. I feel 100 times worse than sorry for myself. I actually feel angry with myself. I justify my anger-filled outbursts by saying some really dumb shit like, I'm sick and tired of being the nice guy. Nice guys always finish last. I go on with myself, with my pity-filled justifying by saying, fuck it. I want to get what I want sometimes. I want to win too. I'm angry.
Before we started, I started to talk to you about me and anger. And I was saying that my anger didn't line up with the chart because I had an incident where I had to fight my uncle, stabbed him, and I get sentenced to anger management. So I finally got a counselor after all these years. Finally get a counselor. Counselor, after going through some sessions, sits me down after the sessions are over, everybody's gone, and says, you know, you're not aggressive. You're assertive. But because you don't know how to express yourself, you come off as aggressive. You have a legitimate reason to be upset. But because you don't know how to express yourself, you come off wrong. And at the same time, You never get to address the legitimate reasons that
Mm.
you're
No,
upset. And so they turn around on 9 and 8, on 8 and 9. And so the littlest thing could set you off and no one understands
Mhm.
because you don't know how to express yourself.
Nisi, have you? I'm sure you have, because you got all the experiences here. But have you seen a man struggle with that? You know, just when it comes to he's trying to express himself, it's coming out all wrong. You know, it's hard. You know, he's a good guy, but there's just something going on inside of him that his expressions are coming out much more stressfully and abrasive than they normally would.
And it's so it's so exhausting for us as women because we want to help our man. I mean, if we call them, you know, in a relationship, we want to help, and you're not saying anything, and we're like, what the hell is wrong? What is it? I'm doing everything that I can to make the house or us or happy, and you can't express yourself, and it's very exhausting it's like pulling teeth, you know, trying to get you to talk. Just tell us what's going on, and some of us will be happy to work with you. In fact, we're both broken, so we really should work together to help each other. If I'm sharing my heart, come on, but that's the work. You got to do the work.
That's right. You got
Because
to
I didn't
do
trust
the
anyone
work.
anymore. I had to do the work on myself and able to, even talking now, I had to do the work. It's a lot of work. It's lonely. You know, you got to give up a lot of people. You got to give up a lot of things. You got to, in order for the creator to work with you, you got to be all by yourself. And a lot of people can't do that. They're afraid to do that. And so we keep repeating and repeating, you know, because I feel like I should have someone in my life. I'm going to go grab that man who's paying attention to me. I'm going to go grab that woman who's paying attention to me. And you're not fixing what's wrong. And what's wrong is in here.
And
It's
what
not
did God
you, it's
say?
in here.
And what did God say? It's not good for a man to be alone. So I guess I better get me a woman to heal with me. You ain't the right one. I got to get another woman to heal with me. Oh no, you ain't the right one. I got to get another woman to heal with me.
Well,
Yeah.
Repeating that pain, just repeating that pain.
I disagree because at that point we're talking about fictitious words,
Mhm.
and it'll cause you to chase after something that never existed, like independent. Nothing in this world is independent. A tree doesn't stand alone. As great as it is, it needs the ground to be able to hit its roots and, you know what I'm saying, have something to hold on to. Nothing grows on its own. It needs the sun, it needs water, it needs nutrients. Nothing is independent. You can't make your own money. Even owning my own business, I have to have a client. I have to have a client to pay me, and then that client becomes my boss. If you go to work, that person is helping to supply a need. But if you're not open, I think the real thing here is not being by yourself or being independent, it's being open, finding security and strength, and being able to say, hey, I'm going to make myself vulnerable, but to who? And when I do, I'm able to receive what comes with that so that I can grow. I had to accept who I when, and sometimes that you know, that moment right before you lay down and it's just you, even if you got a partner on the other side of the bed, that's when the mirror is the loudest.
Mhm.
That's when you look back on your day and you say, I did this, I didn't do this, I didn't get this done. It wasn't her. She sleeps. She went to work. She did what she was supposed to. I didn't get things done. I think it's not a thing of being alone, it's a thing of accountability.
So that's
Well,
a
I
beautiful thing.
say being alone to work on yourself.
So
You have to
that's
being alone to work on yourself, not necessarily, you know, I can't have people around me. You do, but then there's a certain place that you have to put yourself in if you want to heal, if you want to work on yourself, the inside of you, you know,
so
regardless if you get up and go to work or what, you still have to deal with you. And that's work in itself. And a lot of people are afraid to deal with themselves.
And see, for the writer, and when I say the writer was actually telling stories of a couple of different men, not just himself. Yeah, I was supposed to heal, and I was supposed to. I forgot the words you used, Big On, because I followed him. I agree with you, but my confusion, like I said in chapter 1, I confused PEAC, just being at peace with the people that are around me, with the pieces that were missing inside of me. So when she hugged me, saying, "Oh, it's gonna be okay," my dick got hard, and I got a little bit more confused. I said, "Okay, we got to stop this." Okay, and from that point, it became borderline playful. We got to stop this. And then I started to follow through with, okay, the next 5 times is like, okay, well, yeah, you can spend a night, but hey, I just, but my dick was already in the way. It was already in the way.
Yeah.
You say that your dick was in the way. I had a mom that used to tell me I was going to be a hoe when I was 12. She told me I was going to have my first child by the time I was 16. I was 29 when I had my first child. It took years for me to realize I thought I was chasing after some pussy. And it wasn't that. I would be most offended, or I would feel the worst thing would be when she left. If the girl didn't spend the night, and I would try to play it off like I didn't want to deal with myself. I didn't want to deal with the hurt. So I would try to play it off and be like, oh, I'm trying to smash all night. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get that in the morning. No, it was really the companionship that I lacked, and it left a void that I was trying to fill. But as a man, I couldn't tell nobody that. So all I could do was try to keep my bed filled. And that's what I thought. And so that's what I did.
Yep.
My question would be, because as you're reading this book, a lot of men that do get their hands on this book, they're already in the relationship. Do you throw the woman in the trash so you can go work on yourself? Or do you do as an ex-wife told me? She said, "Marcus, I just need you to be honest enough to tell me why you was attracted to her, so I will know how to pray and I will know how to help you." I had to tell her to stop wearing cheap weave, but that's another situation. I had to be willing to say, this is what attracted me and this is why. But a lot of men won't do that. Even if it is that your girl keep wearing the cheap weave that's hanging on the wall instead of buying the expensive weave, it's like an $82 difference. I get it. And like you said, if she's a single mother, she ain't got time to be spending $100 and some odd on one piece.
So
so you can get some peace.
That analogy, do you throw your woman in the trash so you can go and heal? For chapter 7, it was actually saying, do I take myself out of the trash so that I can actually start doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing?
But men don't leave quiet like that.
Yeah. But that was just for me,
Yeah,
So are you
I
hurting her?
always
Are
try
you
to make sure
damaging-
she knew it was her fault.
Yeah. I mean, if you stay, are you damaging her? If you're damaging her, leave her alone. Don't continue to hurt her. But if you feel like, hey, she cares about me, all she's waiting for me to do is change and open up. That's all she's waiting for. If that's the case, then go ahead. But if you're just hurting her and bruising her and bringing her down and, all the other things that will kill her and stress her out, then leave her alone.
Exactly.
It's better to
Does
leave
she
her
really
alone.
want that though?
Talk to her.
I recently had a woman, and she said, "Hey, there's some things we need to work on, this, that, and the other." She felt like she was in the way. I said, "You know what? We do need to get separate places. We need to stop supporting each other." And I finally agreed with her. When I did that, and I made sure she was good, I excelled. She's still falling. I genuinely opened up to do the work. shared everything that was going on. That was, hey, this is what I got to fix about me. And she was not ready for the journey she said she was ready for.
That's the way it is.
And a lot of
sometimes.
men deal with that.
Man,
Yeah,
listen.
everyone can't go where you go.
Nah.
True.
Some people, you have to mature to go places, to go higher.
Yeah.
You got to give up some stuff to go a little higher. I mean, and it's okay. We're adults. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Have that conversation.
Most men are afraid that if they open up and be that vulnerable, if they admit that they're in the trash, they're like, hey, I'm a trash dude right now, but I desire to be great, or I desire to be the man you need, that he's going to lose the one thing that is good to him because he's realizing that he's not even good to himself.
Look, listen. All right. Okay, so we're at our I hate this.
Well, just leave the good ones alone. Just leave us good ones alone until you're ready. If you can't handle, if you're intimidated, if you're all jealous and all that, go work on yourself and then come.
I'm good now, but I've started saying something. When I approach a woman, she tells me, "Oh, I'm married." I had to stop telling myself, "Dang, I ain't never gonna find who's for me." No, the reality is, hey, Marcus, your picker is dead on. You are spotting good women. She's married. She has the qualities. It doesn't mean that you're not going to find what's for you. You're just now starting to identify the type of woman that you really need to be with versus the type of woman you can play with.
So page 159, Andrew, I know you're trying to end this, where it says, damn, I can't stand the ugliest truths that spews from your mouth and my mouth when it's about me. You, on the other hand, unfortunately, all I seem to ever shower you with are daily doses of my ugly 80%. You not only have to see me at my worst, you also put up with that bitch in me. So people who have been reading the book, you've heard that word bitch, 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 bitch. And if you stay with the book, you will find out that bitch is coming out of me, out of the writer. I'm bitching more and more and more. So you got to put up with that bitch in me. And yes, it's very obvious that I don't like that bitchy side of me. You don't deserve this type of treatment from me. Now I see exactly why you don't and won't hold me in reverence. I apologize. I apologize for dumping all of my shit onto and into you. I apologize for always blaming you for my faults, problems, and shortcomings. I apologize for asking and demanding that you share equally with me all that you've worked hard for and that which I have not earned. I apologize for asking you to shrink, lower yourself, diminish your accomplishments so that I may feel bigger, better, and bolder.
That's what we want. Thank you. That's all we ask for, to talk to us. Tell us what's wrong so we can know what we can to work with. You apologize. Most women don't hear any apologies. So yeah, that thank you.
If a woman has accomplished said amount of things under her name, when she gets married, she has, and we don't even talk about this, she has the challenge of saying, I love this man and I want to take his last name. But if I do, now I got to pay all this money and I got to go back to all these institutions and get them to reassign all my accomplishments and degrees under a new name. And some of them I may not be able to do that, so it would mean that I lose that. You admitting who you are and admitting that she's great, as a man, we also have to realize this woman has done all this work by herself before me. I need to come where she's at so that she doesn't have to lose her name in order to be with me.
I love it. I love it.
Yep.
So
we just want something to work with where we can understand. We really, yeah.
And we are so hard to understand, aren't we?
I get it. You just don't talk. You know,
Man,
you don't share your thoughts with us. What are you thinking, honey? Tell us.
Well,
What's the
here's the
matter?
thing.
That's what we
Remember,
say. What's
I'm
the
not thinking
matter? You
anything. I'm
okay?
watching the game.
exactly.
Well,
Here's
that's
the thing.
cool. Because I'm
See, here's the
watching the
thing.
game with you.
Remember, your mom said, if you want to know what a man is thinking, ask him. And he told you in the beginning, yo, baby, I want to kick it with you. Yo, baby, I just want to chill with you. Yo, baby,
That's
I just
it.
want to be with you. He ain't said nothing beyond that moment, but he
Yeah.
did say exactly what he wanted to do in that moment.
A lot of times we're not listening. I used to tell women all the time, this in my previous life, that hey baby, I don't decide, you know what I'm saying, what role or what position that you play in this. When I speak to you, you tell me who you are, and I properly put you in that position that you showed me that you are. So don't get upset with me because, you know what I'm saying, you Tuesday night.
Wow.
Dang, see, I was
Yeah.
gonna end
You
it. I was
told them.
gonna end it
Yeah.
on what I was gonna end it
Yeah.
on what Nisi said, and it's like, no, I can't end it because that can't be the last thought right there. You Tuesday night. But no, I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Thank you so much. Listen, this was a great conversation, and so you definitely want to catch the full video. And so as soon as this wraps up, if you want to start it from the beginning, you can, or you can go and follow us at YouTube/Elevating Men. Check out all of our content. We've got some very good conversations that you don't want to miss out on. Like, you've already missed out on a lot. You don't want to miss out on any more. Follow us every Monday night, 8 p.m. We're going to have a new conversation. It's always going to be good. I promise you. I can guarantee you that. This whole series, this is the 4th in the series. And so, again, youtube.com/Elevating Men. You can catch up on everything that you missed. You can also go to our Facebook page at Elevating Men. And this isn't the only show that we do. So this is what we do on Monday night, Sunday mornings from 9 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. We have 9:30 a.m. We have motivational moments with LaRon Barnes. He's our motivational speaker and life coach. So we talk about how to get your week started off right and how to excel in anything that you want to do. In addition to that, we have a couple events coming up. And so on September 14th, we have our monthly Man Cave prayer breakfast. Be looking for the flyer on that. And at the end of September, September 28th, we have our mental health town hall. It's going to be a huge event at the Mohart Multipurpose Center, 3200 Wayne, where we're going to bring in mental health advocates, mental health professionals, as well as government officials, so we can talk about the mental health crisis in Kansas City. The general public is welcome to come. It's 100% free of charge. We're going to open up the RSVP page for that next week. And so be on the lookout for that. But outside of that, we appreciate each and every one of you. Keep sharing, keep liking, keep hearting. All those things keep us going. We appreciate you so much. And before we go, we got to honor Miss Nisi. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on, sharing a
Thank you
female
for having me.
perspective.
This was fun.
But
This was fun. I used to be so shy. I can't believe see, you grow. You grow. It's just conversation. We're learning each other. I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you're welcome to come back anytime. So if you see a conversation we're having, you're like, hey, nephew, put me in the game. I got you. Fellas, did you have any last words or final thoughts? Anything you want to put out there?
Next week is the wrap up. We will get to chapter 10. Please, you don't want to miss that. I believe it kind of brings everything into fruition.
I believe that too. Big Unc, listen, man, you are such a humble guy. And so I'm gonna brag on you for a quick second. I believe in giving people their flowers. Andrew, he done got so many flowers for me on this show that that whole room back there is probably full of flowers. So I'm gonna focus on you for a minute. But I met this brother at the stage play. So I was in a gospel stage play a few weeks back. And when I tell you, like, this brother here is very consistent. He's caring and he's a helper. And what I mean by that is I watched the way that he plugged into the director of the show. Anytime anything was needed, I would see him over there. Hey, I got you, bro. I got you. And he would. Like, nowadays, people keeping their word is it's almost unheard of. He would bring the cast food free of charge. He does so many things. Very multi-talented. He's a great actor. I saw him jump on the drums at one point. He's playing the drums. Then he's cooking. He's catering. He builds houses. I mean, he does a little bit of everything. And so I just wanted to, and then with Elevating Men, we just brought him into the show a couple weeks back. He's already calling me behind the scenes like, hey, man, I know a location where we can do a live show. One day he called me about 4 or 5 times in the same day, like, hey, I got something else for you. And so I'm grateful for you. I appreciate you being a part of what we're doing. You are an elevating man. And so thanks for being on. But was there anything that you wanted to tell the people? Giving me information, anything?
This has been a crazy season of my life. I had set myself down a while back when I was going through the divorce, and it was just as the author was talking about that conflict with believing that God just didn't give a F about me. In this season, I had finally reached that point where I heard God tell me it's okay to go back full-fledged into ministry. And since I've started this, I have been receiving preaching engagements, like back to back. I got to go and speak at a men's breakfast, speaking to fathers. One of the young men that I'm mentoring, he's come back in town. Just the other day, I got to take another young man that I mentor. His mom sent me and him to the suit store with money. I was like, okay, bless God. It's just crazy to see God open up everything in your life in a certain season because you was obedient to sit down.
Wow. Beautiful.
Love it.
There's some other things too, like work. I didn't get to give the testimony at church this Sunday because I was playing, but I run my own construction company. I also help someone else run theirs as well as the food truck. I was able to track down $20,000 for him.
Wow.
They're now in the process of getting the money to him. He told all the other crews, he said, hey, I can't pay y'all until I get paid. Payday is Saturday. He called me Saturday and he said, listen, I'm not paying anybody but you and the Mexicans. And I was like, what? He said, don't tell nobody, but I'm not paying anybody but you and the Mexicans. I don't want you to have to go without.
Wow.
Man, that's something. Well, like I said, man, I just want you to know from the heart, I appreciate you, and telling you behind the scenes is one thing, but I want the world to know that the Big Unc Marcus is the man. He is the man. And so if you have any needs as it relates to construction, catering, you need an actor, you need a preacher, and whatever else, he probably does it. He got some skills I probably don't even know about, but reach out to Big Unc. How can they get in contact with you? How can they find you?
They can just track me down through my Facebook. I don't know if it's safe to give my number out on here. I have some exes that may not be delivered yet.
No, what's your Facebook page? What's your Facebook page? Man, this dude, hold on. The way he laughing, I think he need to be in witness protection or something. Maybe we need to get off here real quick. Let me get you off here. We're going to have you wear a mask next time you come on.
Yeah, we need to blur the face out.
Blur the face out or something. Yeah.
They're going to identify me by the belly, though. My Facebook is Re-Embodied Mind of Mine. Came up with that when I was going through the divorce, and if you look up the definitions of the words, it simply means that my situation doesn't get to determine my mindset.
Love it. Well, everybody, we will see you back next week. We appreciate you so much. Until next time, next Monday, 8 p.m. See you there.
That was good. That was fun.